again, everybody. Welcome to the Backbone Podcast, where common sense still makes sense in a world that is sick and only getting sicker. And yesterday, like I said, if you check that last video I did, it was about 4 or 5 minutes. I was exhausted last night. The kids took me out. It was a surprise. I really didn't expect it, and I just couldn't do a full recap of the sports weekend. I wanted to briefly go over it before we get to our main topic here. This weekend's football showed you two things. First, that the age of the running around, scrambling around, run first quarterback is finished. It's over. Second, that these offensive coordinators who are head coaches, and notice I did not say these head coaches, I said offensive coordinators who are head coaches, do more to try and impress and show off and rub their egos while these games are going on, rather than trying to win these games. The Chicago-Green Bay game, everybody's lauding it for being this fantastic game, the greatest game they ever saw. That was one of the worst displays of coaching I've seen in a long time. In the first half, Ben Johnson, who is turning out to be a dick, was trying to be so cute and show off and try to outsmart everybody. He ended up being down 21-3 at halftime. Crowds out of it. Teams discombobulated. Everything's going wrong. In the second half, especially on those last two drives by Green Bay, the Packers, instead of controlling the ball with the run, because the Bears defense can't stop the run, what do? They throw the ball all over the place. I don't understand this. In the fourth quarter, your team is giving up 25 points in the the fourth quarter. Your defense is gassed. All you really need is a field goal, and just to take time off that clock and make Green Bay use all their timeouts, which they were, and you win. You're playing next week. But what does LaFleur do? He does the same thing his buddy in San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan, did in Atlanta as an offensive coordinator, and 3 fucking times with the 49ers over the past 9 years in the playoffs. Instead of running the ball, which is his strength, he threw the ball all over the place. That's the only reason why Chicago were able to come back in that game. As wild and wacky and as fun as it is to watch, it is frustrating when these head coaches, who are supposed to be ingenious offensive minds, can't manage a game properly. Buffalo, Jacksonville, tremendous game. Although, Trevor Lawrence really showed some guts. Yeah, he really showed some guts. And that was a very, very good, solid game. The 49er Eagle game was a shock, not really a shock, a pleasant surprise. I was 3 for 3 this weekend with my picks, 2-0 with the college football. But I was really upset. I wasn't upset, but I was pissed off at the Green Bay game because that should have been a Green Bay win. The team that's got to be careful, though, are the Rams. Let me tell you something. In the regular season, you can mask your weaknesses. You can't mask them that easy in the playoffs, especially if they're on special teams. The Rams special teams, they were lucky to get out of that game alive, and they would have been embarrassed had they lost that game to one of the worst, to definitely the worst team in the playoffs. Missed field goal, block punt, block field goal. Couldn't do anything right, and gosh darn lucky to get out of there alive were the Rams as they play the Bears, which will be a tremendous game this coming weekend. The last two games, of course, last night, C.J. Stroud was absolute shit. He's garbage. I don't want to hear anybody say he's the future of this league. He is terrible. The only reason why they got out of there was because of their defense and because the Steelers just stink. And, of course, if you didn't hear the news, Tomlin has now stepped down, which gives the Steelers an option, the opt-out of not having to fire a black head coach. And the Patriots beat the Chargers, and the Chargers were just on last legs. They were just happy to be there. The Chargers were too beat up to go anywhere. The 49er game against the Eagles, that's the game that's getting a lot of controversy, especially if you're on the East Coast. People are going berserk on this. The Niners, the Niners are playing with house money now. They're playing with house money now. They're going to go to Seattle. They're probably not going to win that game. I can't see it. They lose Kittle. Their offensive line is Swiss cheese. They cannot stop anybody on the run. And as long as you stop McCaffrey or contain him as best as you can, which the Eagles obviously couldn't. He caught 2 touchdowns in the final quarter. You're going to beat the 49ers. I hate to say it, but when I do my picks, I am not picking them to win because I'm not going to jinx myself. I picked against them last week. They won. I'm going to do the same thing again. Now, let's get to the story of the day. Unfortunately, if you are a Delbert fan or somebody who knows who Scott Adams is, a fan of Scott Adams or a hater of Scott Adams, there's a lot of them out there. Trust me, I've been reading it. The creator of Delbert, Scott Adams, passes away today at the age of 68, succumbing to prostate cancer. He had been sick for a while. He made it very well known. He did social media. He kept up with his social media responsibilities, but he is gone now. And he left a final message. I don't know if this is his wife or who this is.
It's not with us right anymore.
She's reading this note that he wrote, and here it is for your listening pleasure.
It's not with us right anymore.
I'm going to try to get through this.
He has a final message that he wanted to say, so I'm going to try to read it, trying to be strong. If you are reading this, things did not go well for me. I have a few things to say before I go. My body failed before my brain. I am of sound mind as I write this January 1st, 2026. If you wonder about any of my choices for my estate or anything else, please know I'm free of any coercion or inappropriate influence of any sort. I promise. Next, many of my Christian friends have asked me to find Jesus before I go. I'm not a believer, but I have to admit the risk-reward calculation for doing so looks so attractive to me. So here I go. I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior and look forward to spending an eternity with him. The part about me not being a believer should be quite quickly resolved if I wake up in heaven. I won't need any more convincing than that. I hope I'm still qualified for entry. With your permission, I'd like to explain my life. For the first part of my life, I was focused on making myself a worthy husband and parent as a way to find meaning. That worked, but marriages don't always last forever.
All right, so that I guess I don't know who that was, his wife or not. And if you're wondering who Scott Adams is, or don't remember who he is, Scott Adams, of course, was the guy who, in 2003, famously said this.
So if nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me, according to this poll, that's a hate group. That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with them. And I would say, based on the current way things are going, the best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people. Just get the fuck away. Wherever you have to go, just get away. Because there's no fixing this. this can't be fixed. Right? This can't be fixed. You just have to escape. So that's what I did. I went to a neighborhood where, I have a very low black population, because unfortunately, there's a high correlation between the density. And this is according to Don Lemon, by the way. So here I'm just quoting Don Lemon when he notes that when he lived in a mostly black neighborhood, there were a bunch of problems that he didn't see in white neighborhoods. So even Don Lemon sees a big difference in your own quality of living based on where you live and who's there. So I think it makes no sense whatsoever as a white citizen of America to try to help black citizens anymore. It doesn't make sense. It's no longer a rational impulse. And so I'm gonna back off from being helpful to black America, because it doesn't seem like it pays off. Like, I've been doing it all my life, and the only outcome is I get called a racist. That's the only outcome. It makes no sense to help black Americans if you're white. It's over. Don't even think it's worth trying. Totally not trying.
And he's 100% right. He was 100% right. Why even bother? Why try? I saw nothing of what he said as being incorrect or racist or anything like that. I think the man was just speaking his mind. And now listen, he had an opinion. And we all have opinions. And just like noses, we all have one. Should the man have lost his livelihood because of it? Of course not. There are plenty of black people. There are plenty of Hispanics and gays and Jews or whoever who voice their opinion, who become folk heroes for their side. For the right side, when somebody has their opinion on a more conservative side, they get canceled and vilified and crucified. This guy was crucified for what he said. Now, of course, the Orange Messiah, Donald J. Trump, had to put in his 2 cents. He responded on his, what is this, Truth Central thing, or whatever the hell that website is called. Trump put on social media, and I quote, "Sadly, the great influencer Scott Adams has passed away. He was a fantastic guy who liked and respected me." It's always got to be about him. "When it wasn't fashionable to do so, he bravely fought a long battle against a terrible disease. My condolences go out to his family and all of his friends and listeners. He will truly be missed. God bless you, Scott." Now, that's as good as it's going to get for Mr. Adams, because he has been vilified by the media. Here is the New York Times headline on Adams's death. Scott Adams, audacious creator of the Dilbert comic strip, dies at 68. His chronicle of a corporate cubicle dweller was widely distributed until racist comments on his podcast led newspapers to cut ties with him. Does the New York Times really have to go there? I mean, do they really have to make it about that? People magazine, Scott Adams, disgraced Dilbert creator, dies at 68. Dilbert was pulled from wide circulation after Adams' racist rant in 2023. That's from Victoria Edel. And if you want to see what this monster looks like, let's see if we can get a picture of this maniac. Look at that. You tell me that is something that you want to wake up to. Plus, she's a Mets fan, so that makes it even worse. But the media, the vile response to this by the media is nothing short of disgusting. These people show no remorse, no sympathy, no decorum when it comes to anything that happens on the right side. But the right have to show decorum and decency, right? And why? Because they have the crutch of Christianity. We're Christians. We're of a higher standard and a higher level. Yeah, I totally get that and I agree. And I'm not saying that the next time somebody from the left dies, some leftist hero, that we should, be dancing in the street singing Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead or whatever. No, that's stupid. These people are some of the most debased people you'll ever meet and see. How anybody can find these people interesting, how anybody can hang around these people, how anybody can call these people friend or lover is beyond me. They reek of bile. These are terrible, terrible people. And there's just more and more of them. Just more and more of them. They spread out like weeds. And it's just I don't know. I don't know what's to become of this. I was raised in New York, grew up in New York. I love and hate that city equally. I don't even recognize it anymore. The people that live there are not New Yorkers. That's number one. And number two, no New Yorker. I was there for September 11th. No real New Yorker would ever applaud the death or destruction of somebody else. This bitch, and you could tell she's part of that tribe. She probably plays for the pink team, and she's a liberal woman. So there you go, 3 strikes and you're out. This is how they behave. And they shouldn't get any of our mercy. But of course, because we're Christians and mostly Catholic, she will get it. But whatever. But Scott Adams, rest in peace to you. I'm glad that you opened yourself and opened your heart to Jesus before you went. You made the right move, and you're now cancer-free, you're pain-free as you're home. You made it home, brother. So rest in peace to you. We should all be so lucky to make it home one day. So rest in peace to Scott Adams, and fuck all the vile haters that are relishing in his passage. And that's my 2 cents. Thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Remember, my friends, as you saw, Satan is always busy. Be a man and have a backbone, because masculinity and common sense are worth standing up for. And remember, if it ends in an ism, it's a mental disorder. We'll see you later.